Lewis. Look at the big up. Look at the turn. Oh, that was brilliant, Luke Bruce.
Lewis runs into the open goal. Thank you very much. The Hawks are back in town.
And he finishes more. He can with his fourth. He's had a day out. Scrimshaw, half the seas, went for home and nails it. He'll just set it up, looking for the high flyers. And Sicily soaring through the skies. For Warpino to finish it all off.
Yes, indeed. Hawthorn enjoyed a magnificent Easter Monday win over the Cats, and we're back to bask in it just a little bit longer before turning our attention to round 6 in this short and sharp edition of the Hawk Talk podcast. My name is Nick Mason, and I'd love to just revisit the victory for a few minutes at the top of the show, because they don't come much sweeter than beating Geelong on the big stage.
No, go right ahead, mate. Tell us all about how big Mitch Lewis did his hammy, kicking the goal at the end there.
Are we honestly buying into Tom Brown's report? Is that it? You're not going to go with Cal Toomey over Tom Brown?
No, I love the theatre of it. You know, that's oh, God. There was also criticism from Jordan Lewis for slowing down, you know, being aware of how long was left in the game. And he said, if you did that when I was at Hawthorn, you'd be pilloried or something. And I just thought it was really good awareness of, you know, because he could have gone back, taken the 30 seconds off the clock. But no, he just took a couple of seconds and sort of rubbed their noses in it. I thought it was wonderful.
I didn't think there was anything show-ponying about it. I just thought it was common sense. I mean, everyone in M10 at the game was screaming at him to take time off the clock, because we knew that those were the stakes. That was just the time of the game. And of course you just want to sap the clock. But main event Mitch, mate. He stepped up. He put the exclamation point on what was a magnificent win. I'm going to be sorry not to see him for, well, maybe 1 or 2 weeks with hamstring tightness, unfortunately. But look, if you have to leave a lasting impression, that'll fuel me for the next fortnight. Don't worry about that.
He's running at some tremendous averages, and he's just commanding respect when he demands the ball. So we're going to miss him. But we've got blokes like John Newcomb, our latest Rising Star nominee, to sort of pull us through. And if he could do anything, well, remember last time he played Sydney, he had a record number of tackles for a debutant. Sky's the limit for this kid. We know it now. I thought that might be the case after he jumped on that bloke's shoulders in the forward pocket and took a mark. I thought, now, I haven't seen that for a very long time, and from a kid who's, I think he was in his 9th game at that point. So, just...
The phenom from Puong has definitely arrived. He willed the Hawks over the line this game. A career-high 31 touches, 653 metres gained. I mean, what can you say? Rising Star nomination, thoroughly deserved.
So he'll be commanding the big bucks, obviously. That's on the cards there. And the other bloke sort of taking up a lot of the salary cap will be James Sicily shortly, I would imagine.
We had a question from one of our listeners, Steve. With Sicily becoming a free agent soon, the question I have around it is, should the cheque have 5 or 6 zeros in it? On Easter Monday, he had 26 touches at 88.5% disposal efficiency, which is pretty consistent. That's his standard nowadays. He barely dips below 80%, if that. A game-high 15 marks as well. He was supreme.
And against a very good opponent, who he made look stupid. Sicily is amazing. I was reading some stuff about how when he got injured, he took the time to just really flesh out his love for the game by exploring coaching and getting the most out of players and sort of pulling back from that angry demeanour, the white line fever that he had.
He's become a more well-rounded player and personality, I think. And suggestions, I would have thought maybe around the captaincy a couple of years ago might have been premature, but the James Sicily that we see now, I think he has to be in the conversation. He's definitely a different sort of a beast.
Thank goodness Jed Lamb no longer plays. And then Tommy Mitchell was back to his best. 8 scoring involvements, 75% DE, 21 contested possessions of his 33 for the day. It's just wonderful to see after his second quarter when he was basically hounded out of it and tagged out of it by O'Connor to respond in that second half and pull Hawthorn over the line.
Well, he did very much so. 8 score involvements. This is the Tommy Mitchell I've been waiting for. The long-awaited return of this kind of midfielder machine.
And a goal, of course, which I can't stress enough. That was very important.
It's always nice to get a midfielder hitting the scoreboard, isn't it?
Beautiful.
We have a few questions on this match. The first from AK. Thoughts on who will turn out to be the best draft find, Mitch Lewis or Jai Newcomb?
Well, part of me hopes that it's Lewis, because that means he's just kicking bag after bag. But it's probably going to be Nuke, because he just looks so naturally talented.
Let's address the most obvious point. They're two very different players, for a start, with two very different roles. I think Mitch Lewis, everyone had a good old laugh when he was taking a pick 76. Oh, so funny. You lost Sam Mitchell, you lost Jordan Lewis. Now you picked up a player called Mitch Lewis. Oh, Hawthorn. Everyone was laughing back then. They're not laughing now.
They thought that we were taking the piss, really, didn't they? They thought, what have they drafted this bloke for? This is a joke, etc. And then, we go and we take Newcomb out of Box Hill, and now they want all the rules changed. Fabulous.
I mean, Hawthorn just once again revolutionising the competition.
I tell you what, didn't you love to see Brad Scott come out and say, oh, no, that's exactly what we needed, and this is how it's going to be from now on, and in fact, it wasn't enough. We want more of this.
Oh, my goodness.
And then the other Scott brother, he was in complete agreement, which shocked me.
I mean, the hypocrisy of it, a guy that famously, there's so many archived clips of this guy losing his mind at umpiring decisions.
Not just losing his mind, losing all composure, not only in media conferences, but, I think one of them got fined for having a crack at the umpires. So look, let's just forget about them and talk about the composure of C-Mac.
Before we move on, because I do want to get to Dino's question, but the last thing I'll say on the umpires is that this is a conversation around respect. And as far as I'm concerned, respect is earned. It's not just given out. Me as a spectator, I'll start respecting the umpires a hell of a lot more when they don't take the bait of the likes of Tommy Hawkins flying through the air and getting fully horizontal. When they stop falling for that BS, maybe I'll start respecting what else they have to bring the game.
But even the MRO, with all the time they needed.
Oh, no, mate. No, he didn't exaggerate it enough.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Like, what more do you need? What more could Hawkins have done to convince you that was... In fact, no, they admitted it was staging, but it just wasn't staging hard enough. I didn't really feel his performance.
And I know there is a dearth of umpires or people wanting to be umpires, but I don't think that penalising anybody from ever criticising them is in any way going to help them at all. It's only going to make it more and more pressurised.
Drawing a hard line to make it us versus them, and it just creates an air of antagonism, and it's just not going to help. Anyway, we need to move on. Just wanted to say my piece on that one. This question from Dino: can we spare a moment to talk about how composed Connor McDonald has been? His IQ stands out, and I love his delivery to Lewis and that beautiful chain for our first goal.
That's a great gif, that first goal. And that's the future right there. And his ability to spot a target, hit a target, we saw it in pre-season. He's not going to lose that. He's got that.
And this is game number 5. He's only going to develop and mature and build upon that skill set, refine it. I think we've seen in that 5 games, sometimes has the ability to sort of fade out of games for a bit. You'd expect that of a young gun, though. He's only going to get better, and all signs from Connor McDonald are extremely promising. And I think Dino, as he points out, it is the IQ that is the most impressive. He looks like a natural out there.
Just seems to find space and use it really well. I like the lack of indecision he has to his game. It's good.
Well, that's playing on instinct, isn't it? Which is remarkable for a young man, because you can get too much in your head about it when you start.
And I think DGB was in his head too much in his first appearance for Hawthorn, and he's totally gone beyond that now. He looks a consummate professional, and big game this weekend against his old mate Logan McDonald out of the... they used to play against each other in the juniors in Western Australia, the best key forward, the best key back. It'll be interesting.
I can't wait to see an encore of that battle. From all accounts, it was an absolute beauty in the juniors. We had a question from the Big Easy here. What do we think about DGB's start to the season? Needs to stop taking on the tackler every time he gets his hands on the ball. Still, he's got a big future ahead. I got to say, DGB goes relatively unnoticed by me, and that's with the highest compliments.
Exactly. For a backman, that's exactly what you want.
You read my mind.
How many touches did Hardwick have on Monday? I don't know. Excellent.
It is perfect, isn't it? DGB, he just gets it done. He doesn't have to do any of the flashy stuff. He probably at this stage, he has his one or two moments a match that cause an eyebrow to be raised. And I'm like, that was quite nice, actually. But apart from that, he doesn't have to do anything that amazing. He just has to play his role. And I think he's done that.
And I quite like the fact that he will force his opponent to tackle. He won't back off and keep the pressure on himself, but he will force the issue by trying to run through that player. I know he's tried it a couple of times and hasn't come off very well, but I like that instinct. I don't think we should try to change that.
So in talking about DGB and potential matchups against Sydney, I guess we've already moved on to the preview. It's Hawthorn hosting Sydney down in Tassie for an Anzac Day clash at 12:30pm. Now we've got the squad announced at this stage, waiting for the lineups to be finalised. Out, of course, Reeves with what was an AC joint in the end. Horrific injury when it happened. Just the way when he landed on the turf and immediately went onto his back, writhing in pain, I just thought, that was so... The excruciating feeling of it was so palpable.
Yeah, it's not anything anyone likes to see. And then to lose two big men in the same game, makes it awfully difficult to pull up the next week. So at the moment, they've brought in Wingard Keller, who excites me. I think that's very exciting to actually see him in Hawthorn colours. Max Lynch has been recalled. Don't know whether he'll get a game. I would prefer to have seen him come through Box Hill just to get some match fitness before unleashing him against Melbourne, where he successfully quelled Max Gawn last year. Played very well in his efforts for Collingwood, which is one of the reasons why we brought him to the club. So after that, you've got Day, who obviously comes straight back in, I imagine, and then Ned Long. So one net in, one net out.
That's what it's all about, Tiz. From the interchange.
Wait for this, though. Ned Long and Jackson Keller, same height.
Are they really?
Amazing.
And they're two big-bodied boys. I dare say Keller's got a bit more bulk on him, but I would not have picked that they're the same height.
He does have a bit more bulk on him, but 194, 91 kilos for Long. And Jackson Keller, 194 and 95 kilos. So that 4 kilo difference there, Nick, that's the difference between being a midfielder and not.
Fascinating stuff. We better get to the interchange and look at who we're going to select the lineup from. Morrison, Scrimshaw, O'Meara, the aforementioned Callow, Phillips, McDonald, Long and Warple. Now, the thing that I take note of there is the fact that Lynch is in the side.
Yeah, so does that matter at all? He's listed at full forward, but this is totally fluid at the moment as a squad, isn't it? Doesn't matter if you're in the lineup or not.
Well, the way I always read these squad announcements is the bench is picked from the interchange that's listed now. So 4 guys stay in and 4 go out. Is that the way it works?
And 1 guy's the injury sub.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So in that case, Lynch is playing.
That's my understanding. I'd be happy to be corrected on that. But at Hook Talk Pod, if you want to steer me right on this one, but I always thought that you've got the interchange from these players and you select your bench from that.
So who's coming out? Morrison, Scrimshaw, O'Meara, Callow, Phillips, McDonald, Long, Warple. Usually, if you're going to debut a kid, they would be named in the lineup. So you'd have to say Long is... This will be the second time listed as on the extended interchange, so probably not debuting this week.
I imagine that Phillips is going to be the sub. Can I just interject with that?
Yeah, no, I would imagine that is correct. And then O'Meara curiously named. Is that a message from Sammy?
Well, you got 3 midfielders there on the bench. You got O'Meara, Long and Warple.
Yeah, well, I mean, Warple was injury sub last week, so I think that is a message to O'Meara, especially as you'll see Shields is named on the wing. So, but I think we're beginning to read a bit too much into this. If we look at how Sydney play, we need to be quick.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that is absolutely the priority here. They'll attempt to play our game back at us.
Well, yeah, we're sort of playing a very Sydney style that they used last year.
No, it's ours.
Okay. All right, fair enough. It was, but it should be a wonderfully entertaining game, of course. Buddy's meant to be back.
Nothing to fear from Lance Franklin. What's he ever done at Tassie? Did I just send a shiver up people's spines? I'm sorry.
Surely he's got enough goals now. 1,000. That's it. Done.
He'd just coast to the end of his career, the end of his contract. Why not?
So Brito is concerned with the ruck stocks, and it seems Noodle's injury wasn't as bad as it could have been. But how long is he out? Do we know how long he's out, Nick?
Nope, not yet. That's to be confirmed. And same as Mitch Lewis, the other out.
And can Max get some Mystic Cleanse to end his 2022 Voodoo Hoodoo, which was a little bit hard to get through?
No, you nailed it. I quite liked that. And thanks, Brito, for phrasing it that way. So we need to recap very quickly Max Lynch's horrendous run of luck. Round 1, he gets concussed, so he misses round 2. Then he ends up getting COVID, and then he's finally over that. He's right to go. He's right to be selected, and then he cops a bee sting and has an anaphylactic shock, which, clearly he sees the opportunity to take shots for the gram, and it looked horrific.
He did not look well, and he just this overall, I'm pissed off about this now kind of feeling. And I hope he brings that into the match. I really do. That kind of aggression could be excellent.
I mean, surely things have got to turn around for Max Lynch. That's an awful run to go through, and I can only hope that, his fortunes have changed. We had a question from Lockie here. Any idea why Chad hasn't had a run through the mid this year? Feels like his pace and explosiveness...
Wait. That's where he's named. He's named in the midfield.
Well, he points out, Lockie, that Moore and Bruce up forward, they're safe as houses. You can take that to the bank. So why would we need Wingard there? You should play him as a midfield. And I'm inclined to agree. Wingard is, I can't believe I'm saying this, with Moore playing the way that he is, appears to be excess to requirements at this moment. At this moment.
Look, we've got a player. We've got 2 players that can kick 4 goals and a half. I'm not complaining. Keep them near goal.
Well, exactly right. And with Wingard turning in the kind of efforts that he was, it's clearly not acceptable anyway. So, I don't know. I would play him as a mid.
Yep, I like it.
Force him to be productive. Force him to be industrious and find the footy, for God's sake. We had a question from Numo here. How many weeks does Bramble play at Box Hill before he's picked in the seniors? Where does he fit into the team? Great to have Lockie Bramble back from injury and available for selection.
Where does he fit, though?
Wing for me is still a position that there's at least one spot, I think, up for grabs on the wing. That's what I reckon anyway. I'm not sure. And we've seen this with Phillips being played as a midi sub. Phillips is perfectly adequate. I don't think he's amazing enough to retain his spot right now.
Yeah, I think our wing play can drastically improve, actually. So there's a lot of upside on the wing if Bramble can get there. I would imagine he takes a couple of weeks at Box Hill. At least they got a game this week after the bye from last week, which was threatening to rob Warple of any game time. So it was good to see him get some game time on the Monday. But Box Hill will go to Piranha Park, take on Coburg in the Anzac Day Cup clash from 1 o'clock on Sunday.
That's right. So good to have the VFL back. I sorely missed both the VFL and VFLW last weekend. I just, that's become a bit of a routine of mine now, is to watch all 3 games. I'm very much plugged into the brown and gold when it comes to the weekend. The VFLW will also be returning this weekend at Williamstown at Downer Oval, Saturday 2 p.m. So great to have them back in action. We had a question from Steve. You've discussed before, but AFLW signings aren't exactly flowing. And now Bates has recommitted to the Lions. So what's the expectation of the AFLW side in Season 1?
Are you telling me that Caro was wrong when she said Bates was coming to Hawthorn after Sammy Mitchell gave her a call?
You're saying there's something in that?
I don't know, but I wish, I don't know what they're sitting on their hands for. What are they doing?
Well, they've had time enough to make a KFC commercial to tell us that something's happening, so I'll take them at their word, I suppose. As soon as I hit play on that, mate, I thought to myself, when the players are kicking around the footy, I was like, oh yeah, I think I know who's going to be in this ad of our 3 AFLW signings. Yep, come on, let's see it. And at the end, the whole thing was, yeah, don't worry, there's more. We've got players, don't worry about that. I was like, oh, okay, well played. You got me.
It kind of reminds me of how Essendon are doing their socials this week with, what was it again? Intent, high, and...
The tweet they sent out of intent had 2 photos of players standing around.
And another one of them hugging. I thought it was an interesting approach to really geeing up the team and the side and getting the supporters back together for the Anzac Day clash. Intentional, high, contact to the face, whatever. It's all wonderful stuff. I reckon we'll have the better game, to be honest, on the Monday. Ours will be far more watchable.
Absolutely. Massive ramifications for the top 8 as well. That's a really good weekend we have in store. We've got the VFLW on the Saturday at 2 p.m. You got Box Hill, 1:05 p.m. Sunday.
And you'll be able to know who's held over for the following day.
Yep, that's right, on the Monday at 12:30 p.m. So very good Anzac Day weekend lined up as far as the brown and gold is concerned. Now, a couple of miscellaneous questions just to see out this short and sweet podcast. This one from Mark. Now that we've achieved our best win of the season, Mark says, I can't see us beating that one. Will you be happy with a mix of big, small losses and a better draft hand, say 12th to 14th on the ladder, overachieving and hitting ladder limbo, 11th to 9th, or reaching for the stars and aiming for finals?
Well, Nick, you usually love a good draft pick.
Oh, do I? Is that true? I love a pick 76. How about that?
Just give us an academy and we never have to worry about it again. We'll just finish as high as we like Sydney do all the time. This stuff would never creep into our heads, but I can see some really good results coming through, especially at the back end of the year. We've got Richmond and the Bulldogs, and it's quite a good run into finals. If we want to make it, if we're determined to play finals, this team can.
Look, at a certain point in time, if this continues, if we manage to put together a good run of form, then my expectations might become outcome-focused after all. But at this stage, I don't know. I don't know how far we go with this team this year in particular. I just know that I'm thoroughly entertained. I'm really enjoying Hawthorn at the moment. All 3 teams, in fact.
And there will be a lull. They're a young team, but to see the response from what was a shellacking by St Kilda and come out and really, I was going to say put a cat amongst the pigeons, but that's not really what we did. We really put down the Cats, and it's going to make them a lot harder to get into finals.
Yeah, pretty bloody good win, that one. This last question from Lynn. Are we starting to believe in Sam, or are we still smarting over Clarko's departure?
Well, I mean, Clarko popped up his head to sort of say, thank goodness Gill's gone, we can get a team in Tassie now. But which I thought was just masterful of the man. What a thing to come out and do, ringing in from Green Bay to get that done. No, he's really put that on the agenda, the Tasmanian team, and this is Sammy's side now. If you can, it looks like a good decision, to be honest. They're playing with panache and entertaining football, and there's a lot of clubs meeting us, and we're doing unexpected things. And I thought Sammy coached tremendously well against one of the. Let's face it, Chris Scott is very well respected as a coach. And I thought he pulled exactly the right reins at 3/4 time. For Geelong not to kick a goal in that final quarter, just stupendous result.
There's just something about Hawthorn at the moment. We're looking like a revitalised club. And, I always was excited to see Sam Mitchell step into the role. Obviously, I didn't want it to happen in the manner that it did. I believed in Sam, but then I would. I think anyone who watched Box Hill at all last year might have had a glimmer of confidence, like just a bit of a hope that it could work out.
Never forget, Clarko brought him back because he thought he could be this good.
That's right. Yeah. That is actually true. So, Clarko, if you're going to hail him as a genius, well, he knew what he had in Sam.
He spotted it.
So there you go. Look, I think it's working out so far. There's still so much footy to play out in this season, but as I said, so far, really enjoying Hawthorn. So. Yeah, I believe in Sam. Why wouldn't you at this stage? We better wrap things up. My battery's dying. I've got to head off to the comedy festival, though I fear nothing will be quite as funny as Essendon. I will give it a good college try to have a laugh at something else. Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Not only does it make our day, of course, puts the word out about our show and gets other hawkers on board. You can find us on Twitter as well, at Hawk Talk Pod, our live Twitter space, mate. Now, that was good fun. We recorded that. We put it out. The community was buzzing after such a wonderful win. If you're not following us on Twitter yet, join us. It's always great fun. You can be part of our Facebook family too, facebook.com/HawkTalkPod, and we're on Instagram, so look us up. Lastly, as always, we'd like to extend a big thank you to the proud, passionate and paid up Patreon subscribers that support our show. Things have been busy for the both of us, Tiz. I know it, you know it. We do have plenty of ideas locked and loaded for bonus episodes though, so get on board for that. For anyone who would like to join up, all the details are at patreon.com/HawkTalkPod.
So how are we going to get this done, Nick? We could have Long and Callow in the same team and just young guns all over the pitch. Can Callow take the winning mark and just... Because he's got these almighty clunkers. It's just incredible. If he can get going, get a bit of confidence... He's a Tassie boy, don't forget.
He is indeed. That's why I want him to be handed a debut, I think. I just like the poetry of it. I like the romance of him playing in his home state. You're forgetting one particular hawker, though, mate. And I'm surprised that you've forgotten entirely. A bout of amnesia. The last time we were in Tassie, there was a certain other tall forward that kicked a big bag. Why? Because he could.
Because he could, but he's named in the ruck. And...
It's a curious situation in Hawthorn at the moment, isn't it? At least that'll release Connor Nash. You've got to be thrilled with that.
Speaking of my boy Connor Nash, I turned the corner down. I was walking around Hawthorn today and turned the corner, nearly got flattened.
Is there any more to this story? Is there something else I should know? Or?
No, I got out of the way fairly quickly, and then I realised who it was. I was like, oh, jeez. Not a very good story.
That'll be it for this short and sweet edition of The Hook. What did I just hear? What was that? We'll be back next week. Enjoy your Anzac Day weekend. It's going to be a great contest. VFLW, you got Box Hill as well. You got the men's senior side on the Monday too. We're in for a wonderful weekend. Very entertaining indeed. We'll be back next week to recap the lot here on the Hook Talk podcast. We are a happy team at Hawthorn.